Before today's video, I wanted to make an announcement. I am going to be raising money for my local children's hospital through Extra Life. This is my 7th year participating in this great cause. I've seen people that I love fight cancer, and no child should have to go through that. I'm going to leave a link in the comments pinned down below, guys. Every dollar helps kids get the care and treatment and comfort that they deserve through the hardest time of their life. So please consider donating and make a difference today. Thank you, guys. There's a brand new Hyrule Warriors game out, Age of Imprisonment. This was my most anticipated Switch game so far. I'm a big Zelda fan. I get it. Hyrule Warriors isn't everybody's cup of tea because it's another button masher. It's a Warriors game. A lot of people would rather prefer an actual Zelda game, but guess what? This is better than nothing in my book. Any kind of Zelda is good Zelda. And I think that this game might be a lot better than most people realize. I've spent several hours playing Age of Imprisonment, and honestly, I think this could be one of the most misunderstood games of the year. And again, like I said, people might be like, oh god, it's just a whole bunch of hack and slash, same old, same old. Look, man, this game finally does what Age of Calamity, the previous game, couldn't do. It actually runs really well. And I know I've given other games on the Switch 2 in the past a lot of flack for, oh, it just runs. Well, this actually is optimized for the Switch 2. This isn't some cross-gen game. This is a Switch 2 exclusive, and it runs amazingly. It feels like for the first time ever, a Hyrule Warriors game actually meets the power of modern hardware, and I think it's glorious. So today, we're going to talk about Age of Calamity and why this Warriors entry might secretly be one of the most important Zelda titles we've gotten since Tears of the Kingdom. Before we go, though, make sure you're subscribed with this channel. We're on the road to 100K subscribers. Can't do it without you. So let's start with this. I loved the original Hyrule Warriors back on the Wii U. That game was awesome. It was over the top. There was tons of characters. It was a lot of fun. It brought together all these, like, I guess, it was like almost like a multiverse Avengers type of thing from across the Zelda timeline into one insane crossover universe. It was awesome. There was a lot of potential behind it, and I was sold. Then Age of Calamity came out, and I was like, it was rough around the edges, guys. It had a cool concept. It was a prequel to Breath of the Wild, but it had awful performance. It looked bad. It ran terrible. And half the time, it felt like the Switch was begging for mercy because it felt like it was just chugging on the Nintendo Switch. But that's why when Age of Calamity was announced, I was hopeful. Not because I expected the game to basically be reinvented, but because I wanted it to finally deliver the smooth, fast-paced Zelda gameplay that we've always wanted, without the problems that Age of Calamity had. And again, like I said, it does. So let's talk about the story real quick. This game takes place in a weird place. It takes place before Tears of the Kingdom, but after Breath of the Wild, fleshing out that mysterious gap in the lore where Hyrule fell, what Ganondorf was really up to, why everything looked the way it did when you woke up in Tears, right? This is actually that area also during Link to the Past, like at the beginning when the story happens and talks about the sages and stuff. So this is a big part of Zelda lore being addressed in this game finally. This is really cool, actually. So, yeah, I mean, it explains a lot. There's a ton of cinematic cutscenes. There's new characters, familiar faces. You got Zelda. You got Ganondorf in the game. And I know some people are going to argue about the canon and stuff like that. Where does it fit in the timeline? Is it official? It is official. This is canon. The first Hyrule Warriors wasn't. The last two were, even though Age of Calamity was kind of like a weird, I guess, it had some stuff going on with it that I'm not really sure, especially with the ending, or if it's like an alternate timeline or something like that. But this one is 100% canon as far as I know. People debate about the timelines and stuff like that. It does seem like Nintendo does just, like RGT said, connect the dots when it's convenient. But it does have an enjoyable story. It really fits well, and if you're playing like the Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild universe, it fits in there, right? It's well paced. It's emotional. It actually adds weight to Tears of the Kingdom in a way that benefits it. How does it play though? That's what's important. Enough of me rambling. You guys want to know if this game plays good. Well, it's a Warriors game through and through, and that's not a bad thing here. If you've played one, you've played them all, guys. Whether it's Fire Emblem Warriors, Hyrule Warriors, Dynasty Warriors, Warriors Orochi, you name it. You're slashing through hundreds of enemies, but there's a surprising amount of strategy in how you do it, right? You got light and heavy attacks. Depending on how you chain them, you'll pull off completely different combos. Boss enemies have counter systems. You can parry, you can dodge, you could use anti air attacks depending on their moves. And it's fast, it's fluid, and it's actually pretty stable, and it's easy to pick up. You might be a little intimidated and stuff, but all the button presses are there. It's a pretty easy user interface to go between switching your attacks and your combos and things like that. And the game runs at a solid 60 frames per second, even in chaotic fights, guys. It feels incredible to play, actually. And it's not just about mashing buttons. You're swapping between characters mid-fight. You're chaining sync attacks. You're unlocking new moves. You're upgrading weapons with these zonai materials, which are the stuff that you use to craft your vehicles and your platforms and stuff in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It plays a huge role, actually. You'll see constructs, devices, upgrades. It literally ties into Tears of the Kingdom's building that you played through, where you're able to make like planes and go-karts and stuff like that. And the upgrade system in here is simple but satisfying. You'll use resources and rupees to strengthen weapons, unlock new abilities, fine-tune your I guess your party's layouts and stuff like that. But what really surprised me was how varied it all feels, right? You got aerial battles, you got ground combat. There's even a surprise that shocked me on stream. There's some flying Star Fox style missions. I popped when I was playing this. I went bananas. Pat Patterson said. And again, the performance, for once, it doesn't feel like it's struggling and fighting the frame rate. It's smooth, it's clean, it looks great, both docked and handheld here, guys. Now, let's be clear. If you hate Warriors games, this game's not going to change your mind. Like I said, if you've played them, you played one, you played them all. But if you love Zelda, like me, I'm a big Zelda guy. If you've ever wished for a way to live out the chaos of Hyrule's biggest battles with no slowdown, this is your game. This is your game right now. We're not getting a mainline Zelda for at least another couple years here. It's got depth. It's got story. Most importantly, it respects your time. For me, Age of Imprisonment isn't just a spin-off. It's kind of like a redemption arc of sorts. Like, I've heard other people say that similar case too, because the Warriors formula I think is pretty solid and it actually finally works. This improved a lot over Age of Calamity. It did Age of Calamity better, if that makes sense. Like, if Age of Calamity turned you off, this will win you back in if you're a Zelda fan. And it's one of my favorite games of the year so far. So what do you think, guys? Are you ready to give the Hyrule Warriors series another shot? Or do you think Zelda should stick to its actual open world classic standard format? Let me know down in the comments. If you're new here, make sure you hit like and subscribe, because we're going to make more review videos going forward. So thank you for watching. Peace out.